Psalm 31 is another psalm of King David, who, by the way, wrote the most psalms. You might know that already, but in Psalm 31, David is alone, like alone, alone. Everybody has left him. It starts with his enemies, the people who hate him, but then the people who hate him do such a good job of discrediting him that even the people who liked him and loved him started leaving him because they were starting to believe the messages that were sent by the people who originally hated him. And so David is alone, like really, really alone. And so keep that in mind as I'm going to read for you the first couple of verses of Psalm 31. And I want you, there's one word that I want you to notice. I'm not going to tell you what it is. Maybe you'll pick it up as I go. David says, "In you, O Lord, I have taken refuge. Let me never be put to shame. Deliver me in your righteousness. Turn your ear to me. Come quickly to my rescue. Be my rock of refuge, a strong fortress to save me. Since you are my rock and my fortress, for the sake of your name, lead and guide me." The word that I want you to notice was the word my. How often David used the word my in reference to the different titles that he was giving to God. My rock, my fortress, my rock of refuge, all those different things. He wasn't just remembering that God is powerful and that God's reliable and that God is a safe place. He is remembering that God is my safe place. Like he's that safe place for me. He is a refuge for me, that even though everybody else had left him, even though David was all alone, David was remembering that he wasn't really alone. That the one who had the ability to protect him and lead him and guide him and give him whatever he needed in his life, that he was never going to leave him. Even though he was alone, he wasn't alone. Even if you are alone right now, even if you're alone, you're never really alone. You're not. Because that God belongs to you. And how do we know that? Because he says so. In the book of Ephesians, in the section where we're reminded that we're saved by grace, entirely by grace. For it is by grace you have been saved. It's not from yourselves, it's the gift of God, not by works, so that no one can boast. It goes on to say, for we are God's works of art. We are God's workmanship. And Peter tells us in one of his epistles, he says, we are God's special possessions. Special possessions. How special? So special and so significant to Jesus, who so much wanted you to know that you will never be alone, that he was willing to be alone. Like alone. There was nobody who was helping him on the cross. His enemies were his enemies, but even his friends had run away. Nobody's fighting to get him down, and even his heavenly Father, his own heavenly Father, with whom he is united in a magnificent and mystifying way. Even his own Father was forsaking him and ignoring him. Jesus was alone. And he didn't have to be. He chose to be. So you could see just how determined he is to make sure that you will never be alone. Even when you feel alone, you're never alone. You're never alone. The one who knows how to lead you and guide you. The one who knows how to fill your heart with joy. The one who has promised that your greatest joys are still coming, and they are coming. He's right now with you. And he takes your life so seriously. After all, you are his work of art. You are his, which makes him yours. Rest well tonight, my friends.